I honestly believe that the way that the economy is going, if you earn under 60,000, you're fucked.
There's absolutely nothing to stop us from blockading the English Channel.
Come here, they have loads of kids and the government pays them.
The comedy of errors, that is, the United Kingdom news cycle. I'm Izzy.
And I'm Garcia.
And welcome to Informally Informed.
Deep breaths all round. We're going to discuss what's been happening in the UK.
Do you want to start with Rachel Reeves?
We can do. Let's talk about her crying in Parliament. This woman's a joke. I don't understand how we got here. I mean, the UK, the economy is in flux. It shrank in May, and they keep doing things. They keep saying they're doing things, but really all it's leading to is crashing of the economy.
Well, I mean, economies go up and down on a monthly basis anyway.
True, but it unexpectedly shrank in a way that they've been trying to do things to bolster it. But it was always going to shrink because of Rachel Reeves crying in Parliament. That's not why. But it was always going to shrink because we've not actually made any real changes.
The GDP on the Forex went down like the moment she started crying. And I don't even think Kemi Badenoch was that harsh on her.
But also
British Parliament, like, what do you expect?
It's Parliament. It's one of the only ones in the world that they jeer. And I really don't think that Kemi Badenoch was harsh either. I think she was just being the leader of the opposition.
Yeah. Her budget, them going back on the welfare cuts, which Keir Starmer went back on what he said about cutting welfare to please backbenchers.
Which is what he ran on.
To avoid rebellion. Mm-hmm. Which not only is that going to piss off the people that didn't agree with it but were forced to defend it in public, his other MPs that actually were taking the side of the cut even though they didn't believe in it. It's also going to prove to everyone that all you need is a couple of backbenchers to push around a weak prime minister.
Yeah, but not even only that. They ran. Labour has not been a party for the people for quite some time. Can we agree there? They ran on this idea that they were going to bring the UK economy back. They're going to be cutting welfare. They're going to be no tax rises. They said this.
Tax rises are going to go up 10 to 20 billion or something. They're going to get from taxes. Consumer
prices rose by 3.3% this year. A slowdown of 7.0%. It's been a slowdown of 7.0% last year.
They've reintroduced the winter fuel payments, which I don't have a massive problem with, and it is only under people earning under 35,000, which is fine.
Which is fine, but I don't think that, like, here's my issue with the winter fuel payments. Number one, I thought it was only for the vulnerable. I thought it was only for people that were vulnerable or the elderly. That's what I thought it was for. I didn't realize that so many people were getting it.
Yeah.
And I think that the previous government, the Conservative government, which we had for 14 years, kept that one right under wraps.
And anybody over a certain age was entitled, regardless of how much money they had in the bank. Yeah. The billionaires, well, not that there's that many billionaires in this country.
But people that were well off were also getting it. I don't think that should be... I don't think that should be something that's... that people should get if you can afford your bills. And with the rise in price of fuel in this country, I thought really it was only for the vulnerable. And I thought that Labour, even though I'm not a Labour Party supporter anyway, but I thought that given that they have been out of power for 14 years and they've been running on the plight of the people, we need to do this for the plight of the people, that they would have taken into account the fact that people who could afford their bills were getting this, and they should have stuck to their guns to an extent. I think they should have brought it back for the elderly and for the vulnerable, but I think they did it in a way that I don't agree with. The initial cuts, we're just cutting it. No discussion on it, we're just cutting it. That wasn't the way to go about it. I mean, the winters in this country are harsh and horrible. people can't genuinely afford to heat their homes, even if you earn over a certain amount. And with the tax going up, you're gonna find that people who are just making bank over 35,000 anyway probably still won't be able to afford their bills with rising costs.
Yeah.
What they're gonna do then? This country was not made for people that earned under 60,000. I honestly believe that the way that the economy is going, if you earn under 60,000, you're fucked.
Did you hear about the new immigration thing with France?
I did.
It's on your list.
It is on my list.
So
the one in, one out policy.
Yeah, so Keir Starmer has brokered a deal with Emmanuel Macron, who's the Prime Minister of France, to say that we will return one illegal immigrant in exchange for one vetted illegal immigrant, is basically what it is. Except I heard a report that it was only like 50 a week this was going to be happening to. So it's not really one in, one out, is it? It's more like 20 in to one out.
Yeah. I just don't even know what to say to this because it's only a pilot.
And Macron blamed Brexit, which isn't the case because they weren't taking any back before Brexit happened anyway. So Brexit's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned.
But not even only that, we're already paying France to stop these people at the border.
We should just cut it. We should just cut.
I think we should just cut the pay.
Because France obviously don't want them in their country.
No,
and
we don't.
A lot of Europe are now kicking off, like Italy, Spain are kicking off.
Because, Spain are kicking off big style.
Because they think that France is going to return the illegal immigrants in France to their point of entry, which would be Spain, and they don't want them.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what I actually found in my research while we were doing this? Border Force. There's a diphtheria alert out for them. So staff are now receiving vaccinations following diphtheria cases among migrants in northern French camps. So they're bringing, I mean, not to sound, awful, but they're bringing death and disease from these countries that they didn't have vaccinations in. They're bringing them here. Medieval diseases. Look at the rise in measles, but that's also on my list for further down the line because today, it was on the news recently that a child has died in Alder Hey from measles. Because measles is on the rise. Where I work, there's actually a massive sign on the door outside Children's A&E that says, beware of measles. Yeah. And measles, there's a vaccination for that, the MMR. But because of the whole thing with vaccinations now, and people are against vaccinations, they're not vaccinating their kids, and now children are dying from a disease that was eradicated.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, well, the government should have lied to us about COVID, and then if they hadn't done that, there wouldn't have been so much bloody anti-vaxxers in the world today.
Oh,
because no one was an anti-vaxxer before.
No, before
they started lying to people about the COVID vaccine.
There was lots of anti-vaxxers, not on the same level, because people were likening vaccines to autism. That's been going on for quite some time. So there's always been anti-vaxxers. It's just never to the extent that it is now.
Yes, but they were always in the same camp as the flat earthers.
Yes, and now they're not.
And now it's like, oh, it's a common belief. And can you blame them? Because the government did lie about the COVID vaccines. So how can you blame them?
Funnily enough, there's been loads of issues with that. Loads of people that have died from cardiac arrest because of the vaccines.
That's what I mean. What I mean. So you can't blame them for turning around and thinking vaccines aren't safe when the vaccines they've had before weren't safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And as such now, though, their kids are dying from measles. Polio's back.
Speaking of the illegals, while we're on the topic, Macron has said that a third of all illegals that enter Europe, are banned for the UK.
Mm-hmm. And why? Welfare state.
Welfare state, yeah.
Because I saw that interview on the BBC, not that the BBC is the fountain of any knowledge. I saw an interview on the BBC with a guy in one of the camps. I'm not even sure if it was set up because he spoke incredibly perfect English, saying, yeah, we want to get to the UK because they'll pay us to live. And it's true.
Yeah, of course it's true.
And also they're taking advantage of the fact that child benefits are a thing. So they come here, they have loads of kids, and the government pays them.
And the migrant hotels.
Yep, migrant hotels. Yep. Ugh, the UK, man.
But this is the thing, it's quite common to see more than 1,000 people arrive on the shores of the UK on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Quite common. And then anybody can go down to Dover, sit there for a while and watch the boats come in. Like, it's not a secret. Everybody knows this is happening. It's not a huge stretch of coast, you know. And everyone's just like, oh, yeah, it's, There's absolutely nothing to stop the United States down to France if France let them. What are we supposed to do? France are letting them come, yeah, because France don't want them. There's absolutely nothing to stop us from blockading the English Channel and being like, no, you're not coming. They'll soon learn the lesson.
I do agree, and I think that given that the UK has such a massive naval force, we should be utilising them to actually keep our borders.
Over 40,000 people came last year on boats.
Oh, I read 3,000 to 4,000.
No, 44,000 last year total came on boats.
Okay.
And this year, so far, it's like 21,000. And that was the BBC that reported that.
Believe the BBC.
No, but they're more likely to downplay the figures.
Mm.
Yeah. And just while we're on the topic of immigration, before we move on, did you see that effigy?
No, what effigy?
Oh my God, there was this
Is this a bonfire?
The bonfire.
Oh right, was it an effigy?
What would you call it?
I thought it was just a tall bonfire. I didn't see. Was it in
What's an effigy then?
If it's in the shape of someone.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought it was just a tall bonfire. What's it in the shape of?
It was a tall bonfire that said illegals go home.
Right.
And then on top of the bonfire was a perfectly sculpted dinghy with loads of different cardboard cutout people.
Oh no, I didn't see that
part.
boat. I didn't see that part.
And then I saw the video of them burning it, and there was a big crowd, and everyone was
the police
cheering.
have refused to go and break it all up.
Then, but what law have they broken? It's not illegal to have a bonfire.
No, it's not. But the police have declined to sort of break it up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why would the police get involved? They've not broken any laws.
Have they not, though? Because I'm sure that public bonfires are illegal, and they have been for quite some time.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's why.
People used to have bonfires come bonfire night.
You do, but they're not in publics. They're not like they're what's the word, by the council. They're not like on a public field. They used to be when I was growing up. They used to be, but as far as I know, that stopped quite a while ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well in that case, but I was under the impression that they'd not broken any law.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know if they broke laws actually. Did they? Did they? People, have they broken laws? You let me know. If you're a police officer, let me know why it is that the police have decided not to act on this.
Maybe the police are on the side of death to him. I don't know.
You can't say that legally.
No, I can't.
But also,
obviously, I don't mean it. But
I also feel, and I said this in our immigration episode, go back and watch, when we were talking about immigration generally, we're not looking enough at the immigration that happens via planes. Of course, the boat-in situation is terrible, but it's because it's visual. You can see it, so it's causing more of an outrage. But the immigration that happens via planes and people just coming here and not leaving, that is also a massive strain on the economy. We need to look. I mean, there's over 1 million people that come here to do that.
Boris wave.
The Boris wave, yeah, and have not been sent back anywhere. So much like, it's funny, really, because I thought that with Brexit, we would go into a certain level of protectionism, but in actuality, we've not done that. We've not done that at all. And I'd like to see Labour pivot towards protectionism. We need to be more concerned with what's happening in the UK as opposed to what's happening everywhere else, because that's where we seem to be focusing right now. Is what the people can't afford to live, but we can afford to send weapons to Ukraine.
What's your solution?
Crack down, put the Navy in the Channel. Crack down on actual immigration. Hire more people to work in the Home Office to process these people.
How do you feel about mass deportations?
I don't disagree with mass deportations. I don't. I think if you haven't, I don't think the Trump way is the best way, but I think if you haven't got the correct papers to stay in the country that you're in, you're not contributing to society anyway, because you can't, because you haven't got the legal status to get a job, then I think we should be deporting you.
All foreign criminals.
If you come here, you commit a crime, you don't have the right to stay here, then yes, you should be deported. However, I don't agree with people revoking passports, and I do
No,
think
no, 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 no. I'm
no.
talking about, like, if I'm on a 2-year visa
Mm,
and I come to this country and I commit a crime within my 2-year visa, I should be
leave,
sent home.
and then you should never be allowed to return.
Agreed.
And I also feel like we need to look as well towards Europe, because people coming here from Europe, it's also the same thing. We're not in the Schengen zone. We're not in any of those things anymore. So you need to be going through the proper channels. Yeah, just like Spain is kicking out all the Brits, I think we need to be looking at that. We need to be looking at, well,
Anyone on benefits?
if you're here, you're on benefits. You can't work, and you can't work because of your legal status. But I don't even understand how it is that you're able to claim benefits. How are you able to claim? It's a drain on resources. We can't afford it. The economy can't afford it. Prices are going up.
No more family reunions.
I don't agree with that. I think that we should. No, I agree with that point. I don't agree with the idea of family reunions. If you're here on a student visa and you've come to do your studies, when your studies are finished, unless you are applying for a new visa and there isn't someone who is here already that can fill that role, which is what it's supposed to be anyway, then you need to be returning. Speaking of which, how do you feel about the deal with India?
Refresh my memory.
It's free movement between Britain
Oh,
and
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
free
yeah,
movement.
yeah. No, I don't like it. Don't
So
like it at all.
there's loads of reasons I don't agree with it. But partly, and I know people will say, well, it's Pakistan that's most likely to do this, wherein they come here, you marry your cousin. I know that it's not necessarily a Hindu thing, it's more of a Muslim thing, but there are Muslims in India who will come here, marry their cousin, have a disabled child, and then claim for that child for the rest of their life. My sister and I were actually discussing this, because I honestly feel like that this is something that we need to look at. We need to look at the drain on education.
And also, it's not even if that wasn't the case, I don't believe in free movement of people between any country. It's not the fact that it's India. It's the fact that it's a country that can then people that can then come and go. What if the entire population of that country suddenly decides to up ship and move?
This is it. There are over 1 billion Indians. And India is it's the other side of the world. How is it that we're allowing this, but we won't allow, like, we've come out of Europe, the European free movement, but we're all right with it if it comes from the other side of the world? Make it make sense to me, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
Because then you've got cultural differences.
Very, very big cultural differences, and the fact that I'm sorry, and this is not to be disrespectful to any of my Indian counterparts, because I do have Indian friends, but they don't want to integrate. They don't want to integrate. They want to live in. There's entire towns that have been taken over. Look at Bradford, which is
That's
actually
Muslim,
been
Pakistani.
which is,
not
but
Indian.
not all Muslims are from Pakistan. Some are from India, and also, you know, that it's not they're not looking at religion. They're looking at nationality. Yeah. They've taken over an entire city, but Bradford was actually named cultural capital of 2025.
There was only one culture in Bradford, the Islamic culture. So how can it be multicultural when there's only one culture there?
Well, if you live in Bradford, because I've heard it said many, many times that these are not people that are racist or anything like that. These are brown people that are also saying the same thing. You need to integrate. You need to actually be part of society. You don't get to sit in your own communities like that and not integrate with the rest of the world. And then if anyone, the rest of society, British society, and then if anyone says anything to you, you go, oh, you're being racist. I think I hate society now. You can't say anything to anyone without it being a race issue.
I agree.
It pisses me off.
While we're on the topic, I did have a section on these 3 new movements / parties.
Oh, I do. Corbyn.
Yes, but while we're on the topic, there is a bit of crossover, so I might do mine in the opposite order and talk about Restore Britain and Advance UK before we talk about Corbyn, because it links in a little bit with the immigration stuff. So for those unaware, Nigel Farage has publicly said multiple times that he is not for mass deportation. He's not for a lot of the things. All the things he was for this seems to happen with parties. I don't know what it is. He's suddenly become popular, and he's been dragged more to the center compared to what he was. And then obviously there was fallings out with Ben Habib, and then there was fallings out with. I mean, I understand. It's not like I don't understand, because Ben Habib was deputy leader of Reform UK,
UK, yeah.
and then he lost the election, and Richard Tice won the election, so he got role of deputy, which I think is reasonable.
Yeah,
Because
you need to be an MP.
He's an MP. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to be actually,
but you really should.
But
be.
you should be. So I think that's fine. I think there was goings on behind closed doors. Ben Habib said some stuff. Mass deportations. That was it. Ben Habib said he was all for mass deportations, and Farage wasn't. He got booted. He's created Advance UK. Now, Advance UK has 4 key aims. This is all I really know about them. They want national unity, freedom of speech, restore democracy, and equality before the law. As far as I'm concerned, it's a massive nothing burger. It's not going to go anywhere.
It's not.
Reform UK was the exception. It is not the rule. If you look at all these, Reform UK was a nothing burger until Farage decided to step back in again. Right? I don't think that. However, I will say I don't think that Restore Britain is a nothing burger.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It might be inflammatory. What's the difference between UKIP and Reform UK? Because for me, there really isn't.
Oh, there's quite a few differences in terms of like policy and stuff. UKIP is far more hard-lined. UKIP let in Tommy Robinson. Reform wouldn't touch him with a barge pole.
But given
UKIP turned so under Nigel Farage, who was leader of UKIP, it was a very different party to the party you see today. Yeah.
I mean, apart from dodging the racism claims and the fact that, but society's moved on. So instead of a Tommy Robinson, we now have a Nigel Farage, but he's being dragged into the centre. Even Tommy Robinson's done a U-turn.
I don't follow Tommy Robinson a whole lot.
Oh, okay. I don't. It's not that I follow him as such. He just pops up here and there.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I've got a couple of his interviews that popped up very recently, and I stuck them on my watch later on YouTube. I just every time they come up, I'm like, can I be bothered? No, I can't.
Ah, fair enough.
That's
anyway,
where I'm at with Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, it's a conversation for another time. But go on.
UKIP is still out there. It's still going.
It is still going.
Nick
it's a completely
Tenconi,
different party.
Nick Tenconi is the leader.
Hi Nick, who
Hi,
we've
Nick.
met. Yeah, it's a different party, but I also feel like, I mean,
and he's
20
doing a
years
lot of
ago,
stuff. Like, I'm getting messages about like protests that were going on, like mass deportations now protests. Like UKIP are really pushing this mass deportations line.
But do you think that parties as a whole, because obviously society are up in, the people, regular people, are more up in arms now about immigration than they've ever been. Do you think we need to go back to a UKIP type thing? Or do you think where we are now with reform is good enough?
I don't think reform are good enough. I don't think they're hardline enough. I think they used to be, but I think it's better than Conservatives and Labour. I think Restore Britain, but this is the thing, Restore Britain is not a party, it's a movement. Because this is the thing, they're trying to build alliances. Founded by Rupert Lowe, who got unceremoniously booted from the party, is now an independent MP. When you're trying to build alliances, councillors, all this kind of thing, it's far easier to do so if the person you're trying to build an alliance with doesn't see you as a rival, which is what they will see them as if they become a political party. So their movement, they've got, I believe, at least 100,000 members like 10 days ago when they first, 50,000 in the first day or so, and they're cross-party, anybody can join. There's some things on there that... So one of the things on Restore Britain's list to do is net negative immigration. So obviously the benefits people, the family reunions, the students, the criminals, gone. Straight off the bat. All illegals, straight gone. Great. That ain't going to get us to
That's not, I don't think that's great, no.
That's not going to get us to net negative immigration.
No, because the UK needs immigration. All societies need immigration.
I think that it is a good... It depends on the type of people. I think it is a good thing to, although completely pie in the sky and unrealistic, I think is a good one to have on there because it has an aim for something. If you aim for the stars and get to the moon, it's better than aiming for the moon and only getting halfway. So I think it's good to be like, this is what we're aiming for, even though when you actually look at it, like, and even then, we could have 300,000 people moving to Spain and 250,000 people moving to the UK from Pakistan. And that would still be negative immigration. It's not great. There's nuance there. There's not necessarily great in terms of cultural aspects and stuff like that. But it's something worth aiming for. Restore the death penalty for heinous crimes. So the Axel Rudicabanas of the world.
You're never gonna get me on the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't feel like you're ever going to get me on the death
of that.
penalty.
Even though I do think they should bring corporal punishments back to school.
Independent inquiry into the COVID jabs, I think is a good one. Abolish the non-crime hate incidents, 100% on board with that.
100%.
Stop people going to jail for the stuff that they say.
I don't think that scrap the thought police, the internet police.
Yeah.
Get back to police doing actual policing.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you know, it's funny because I was talking about this at work the other day. I asked one of my colleagues, do you think that there's more paedophiles now? Because it seems to me that every other thing you hear about is a paedophile. Do you think there's more paedophiles now, or do you think we're just more informed of it because of the internet? Because Jimmy Savile was under the radar for God knows how long, but people knew and never said anything. Do you
It
think
depends
if the
on the
internet
type
was...
of paedophilia.
Fair point.
I think paedophilia as a aversion, that's the wrong word, as a, not orientation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Urge, whatever you want to call it. I think there's no reason for that number to go up. If it's a biological thing that some people are just attracted to kids and then they go on a raping rampage or whatever, I think people would probably be less likely to act on it given the fact that it's a hot topic at the moment. So I think the internet's had a certain way of helping reduce that level. But I also think that if you're looking at specific types of paedophilia, like the, Pakistani rape gangs, then obviously in this country it's gone up. And I don't think it was really that prevalent in Pakistan. I mean, I don't know.
But it's not prevalent in Pakistan because of the cultural norms. Cultural norms. It's not seen as rape. Cultural norms. So I this is what I meant about the caliber about culture and the caliber of people. Because if you bring your culture here, it's not going to be in line with the culture that's already here.
Still, FGM still goes on in this country. There's like, God knows how many Sharia law courts.
Oh God, dear. Especially in Luton. So I think that we need to. I don't think it's rude to say that the government's U-turn on this inquiry situation was well needed. Unfortunately timed, but well needed. They should never have announced that there wouldn't be an inquiry.
They refused to do an inquiry into the Pakistani rape gangs. Refused point blank.
But I also saw, I did a minimal amount of research on this, but I also saw that most rape in this country is not actually committed by Pakistanis. It's actually...
So where did you get that? Because the last time I spoke to you, you said only 7%, and I looked to try and find this figure, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
I have no idea where I found that, but I will find it again.
Because I'm not, because I looked, like, even typed in 7% of, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And what do you mean by, are we talking generic rape, or are we talking about grooming gang rape specifically? Because if that's the case, that's not accurate.
It's alright. Look. I know. Oh, there you go. It's the Office of National Statistics.
What is it? What's the figure?
It says 85% of suspects in group-based CSE, which is child sexual exploitation, in early 2024 were identified as white, and 3.9 were recorded as Pakistani heritage, although ethnicity was known for only 39% of suspects.
Exactly. This was the original study. This is it. So 39% of 39% of all people suspected had their ethnicity recorded. So if they were white, they had their ethnicity recorded. So 85% out of that 39% were white. And why didn't they record the other 60%? I'll tell you why. Because they weren't white.
But then in this country, you are required to collect that statistic anyway. So
It's all well and good saying that you're required to, but they didn't.
Of course, the failure there is on the police, who haven't actually collected what they're supposed to.
Because they were scared of being called racist.
And that's therein lies also the problem, is why this stuff is carried on, because the fear of being called racist.
So 39%. So okay, so 85% of 39 is what, like 34%, 33%, something like that.
That's where I got the statistic from.
So a third are white. The rest are probably non-white.
But that's probably, we don't know, because it was never recorded.
So I looked into that at the time, and as far as I'm concerned, that reinforces that, because I read the report at the time. That reinforces my belief that it is vastly majority that there's an issue with Pakistani grooming gangs. Because, like you said, they're required to record that data. They made an active choice. There was one woman that who was involved that said she actually caught people using Tipex back in the day where they had Tipex, to Tipex out the ethnicities. Because this is when they did that investigation to collect that data. They were actually Tipexing out the ethnicity because they didn't want it known that they were not white.
So why is it that you think that the government has done a U-turn on this?
Pressure?
They are bowing to a lot of pressure now, so I wouldn't rule that out.
Anyway. Jezza.
Jeremy Corbyn?
Let's discuss.
Let us discuss Jeremy Corbyn. Zatlan?
Zara Sultana.
Is that how you say it? Sultana.
Sultana.
Zara
Sultana.
Okay. Zara has preemptively announced that she's left the Labour Party and going to join this new party of Corbyn, which the media are calling a rise or something like that. But Corbyn has come out and said that they're just in early talks. Nothing's actually been decided yet, and she's just preemptively announced this without any plans.
I have written down JC and Zara Sultana's new party. It's going to be to the left of Labour. They're probably going to be looking at the local level, but I have no other information about it because there is no other information.
There is no other information because she's just announced this with nothing. Even Corbyn's come out and said, well, there's nothing to announce. And the thing is, at this point in time...
Diane Abbott, John McDonnell and Clive Lewis have all said that they wouldn't be joining.
Diane Abbott wouldn't be welcome anyway. She is not left of anything.
Although, to be fair, she was shagging our man JC at one point.
Yes, she was. I will never go there with Diane Abbott. For me, this woman should no longer be in Parliament. I'm just going to leave that there.
She's just a little bit thick, isn't she?
I don't think she's thick. I think she's a very intelligent woman. I just think that the things that she does and the things that she says tells me that she's out of touch. Jeremy Corbyn. See, the problem that I had with Jeremy Corbyn is when he was leader of the Labour Party, I didn't agree with his stance on things. But I also didn't have the hindsight of saying that things have gone to shit.
And it's interesting to note as well that recent polling suggests that Jeremy Corbyn's new party could get 10% of the vote, and the vast majority of that won't be coming from Labour, be coming from the Greens.
And yeah, it's bad news for the Greens. And also, I feel like Jeremy Corbyn being ousted from the Labour Party for his what they described as anti-Jewish stance, which was never founded, was a joke. Considering the fact, I mean, I know that if you
that's not why he got ousted. Why he got ousted was because he said that the anti-Semitism claims had been over.
And I agree with him. I know that we're living in a society now.
So it's not like he was even accused of anti-Semitism. He was just saying it's not as bad as what you think.
But the party was, and he was a leader. So, but where we are at now in society is that you cannot say anything. We had a conversation about this, wherein you can't say anything seemingly anti-Israel without it becoming a Jew situation.
9/11 Steve got ousted from the Labour Party when they were doing their sweep of ousting people for anti-Semitism. And I don't find him anti-Semitic.
I don't find him anti-Semitic. You can't say anything now anyway. against the Jews. Even though I'll say it once again, I'm pro Gaza.
I am Switzerland on this issue.
I'm not. I am taking a hardline stance here, and I will, as I've always stood by my words on this. I'll never be pro Israel.
I'll never be pro either. I'm quite happy to, because I think if you take a hardline stance, it becomes almost difficult to look at the positives and the negatives
The
of
nuances.
both sides.
I understand that. But I think that after however many years this is, I mean, to be fair, I've never been pro-Israel. I've always been, because I grew up in the Caribbean where we were very much aware. There's entire swaths of Jamaica that it actually just says Gaza everywhere. Gaza, Portmore, Gaza, Portmore, all of those places. Do you know what I mean? Because we recognized it in the early 90s as a genocide. So I think it's one of those things, and it's funny that society now is so, we're so programmed to sort of have hardline stances on stuff based on recent events that we never look to the past, even though history is there written, to go and do your own research into how we got here. We didn't just walk into it. So that's where I stand on that. I know I get a lot of hate on it, but I don't care. Leave your comments. Tell me how much you hate me.
Please do.
Don't give a shit, but please, by all means.
Anything else you had? Or should we leave it there?
No, we can leave that there. The UK is a shithole that's staying a shithole, and when the US sneezes, we fart. Nothing good has happened over the last 6 months.
I haven't even mentioned the US.
No, I know. I know we haven't, because we will in a further episode. But I'm just starting this here. Like, anything that's happened over the last 6 months have been a shit show in the UK. Culminating from world politics to the economy. Parliament's a joke. The Bank of England are robbing us all. Interest rates are about to go up. People won't be able to afford food. The fuel prices are going up in July. What's the fucking point? I want to move to Belize. I keep telling you this.
I know. Anyway, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you in the next one.
Let us know if you agree or disagree with any of our views. That's the point of the conversation. Join in.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.